What is the biggest thing standing between you and the life that you want? It's you. We are the biggest saboteurs of our lives, getting in our own way. But I've been doing the work. But I've been doing this and that and the third. But I'm not I'm not mocking you because these words have come out of my mouth and I've said it so many times. Just frustrated that I've been doing the mirror work, the shadow work, facing my childhood wounds, and yet I still find myself circling back. And I have watched myself do this and given every excuse under the sun, the moon, and the stars not to take the actual steps, not to do the uncomfortable thing, the thing that will challenge my Truman show of a life, version of a life that I've been presenting to the world. And I know that I'm not alone. I know that there are women out there that are building entire lives and businesses inside this show and presenting that version of themselves every single day to the world. Most of us, and I mean most of us, have been building on a foundation that is formed in a system designed to keep us small, distracted, and exhausted. But somewhere in the last few years and even the last few months, something in that structure is starting to crack. And many of us have felt that cracking inside ourselves, right? And that has been what I call the personal evolution taking place while there is a social revolution. But we thought that we did something wrong, that we were failing at life, and that was not it at all. This moment right now is asking us what becomes possible when what was false finally falls away. Sorry, got distracted. This is what we're going to sit inside today because out of that fall, something new is emerging. So, welcome back or welcome to the channel. I am Marjorie Bostwick Phoenix. I am the founder of The Feminati. I am the teacher and writer and guide to women who are standing in that threshold moment of their lives. And this channel is where personal evolution meets collective leadership. If you are a woman that senses something in you is ready to shift in the way you lead and how you're building and just how you move in the world, you are exactly where you need to be. And I want to invite you to like this content, subscribe, share it with someone you know, especially if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more. So, there is a reason why so many women right now feel like the floor is disappearing. And this is because high achieving, clear minded, deeply committed women are sitting in the rubble of their lives that they built deliberately, looking around, wondering what the hell happened here. And I want to offer you a frame, not to explain this away, but to help you understand what actually might be happening. So I'm going to go into astrology a little bit, right? And I'm not using it as a predictive tool, but as language for a collective pattern. And I use this every day in my life. So I'm going to share with you what I'm sensing. Pluto. Pluto is the planet of destruction and transformation. But what most people get wrong about Pluto is Pluto does not destroy what's real. It destroyed what was never true to begin with. So it goes underneath the structures that you've been maintaining and asking, what is this actually built on? And if that answer is fear or performance or compliance or someone else's definition of worth, right? Pluto collapses it. And it's not to punish you, but it is to free you. So when that career stopped making sense, that is probably Pluto. When that relationship that you have been trying so hard to keep alive finally breaks, that is probably Pluto. When your life, that version of yourself that you have been offering to the world, starts to feel like the Truman Show and you want to get in that boat and you want to swim away, and you have to watch the Truman Show to know what I'm talking about, that is probably Pluto. And the question it's forcing us to answer is the one that I opened with. It's what becomes possible when what was false finally falls away. But before we can answer that, we have to be honest about what we're building and why. So I want to say something about my last video. My video is You Were Never a Good Girl. That's the title of it. And I want to bring something from that into this because this is an important piece to this. And I'm going to link that video in the show notes below for you. So you can go and look at that. But that good girl myth that a lot of us have been playing, we've been playing that like it's a personality trait, and it's not. It's a conditioning and a programming. It tells you what to build, how high to build it, whose approval you need before it can be done. It tells you that the goals that need to be included inside of it. It tells you who validates it. It puts you in a position of being chosen. And so that's what we tend to build in our lives and in everywhere, right? We build our careers around institutions that were never designed to hold us. We build our identities around roles that required us to make ourselves smaller to fit into it. We build our sense of worth around metrics that were invented by systems that had already decided our value. And we were brilliant at it. You hear me? We were brilliant. We were resilient. We were exceptional builders, right? We just didn't realize that we were building on someone else's blueprints. So the lie wasn't that you couldn't build. The lie was that what you were building, what you were told to build towards, that was the lie. An example of this is DEI, right? As devastating as that has been, the pull of DEI out of corporations, right? A lot of Black and brown women were affected by that. But it was built on a lie because it could never fully do the work. It was not meant to do it, right? That's why they could drop it when the wind changed, because it was based on a lie. And when that lie finally falls away, understand you are not left with nothing. You're left with your whole self. That part that was there before everything else, that part that was suppressed and tucked away. So now I want to speak to something very practical, right? Because this is the work, right? This is where the work falls, that when this false foundation falls away, most women do one of two things. They either rush to try to rebuild something new, often just a rebrand version of that same pattern that they've been playing, or they freeze because without the old way of doing things, they don't know what to do next. And I built something exactly for that moment. I call it the Emergence Map. And let me be clear about what it is and what it isn't. It's not a personality quiz or a quick assessment, right? This is a diagnostic tool. And I have the credentials to create this because I have a degree in sociology with a minor in women and gender studies, and I have a master's in IO psychology. So this map, it helps you identify repeating behavioral patterns, right? The ones that keep showing up no matter how many times you have pivot, you restart, you reinvent yourself, you rebrand. It helps you understand where that pattern came from. And this is the part that most of these tools skip entirely. What purpose it has been serving, because that pattern isn't random. They are protective, right? And it makes sense. It keeps you safe in a system that wasn't safe for you. And then this is the part that I really, I'm really proud of, is that once you understand the pattern and its origin, then you receive a customized, comprehensive 90-day plan that I put together to help you break it. Not white knuckle your way through it, but break it by understanding it deeply enough that it can no longer run in the background of every decision that you make. So I'm going to put the link for the Emergence Map in the description below, because if you have been sitting in this rubble of your life and thinking, what is going on, right? And what to do next, then the Emergence Map is your next step. Okay. It is the map for what comes after the false foundation falls. So now let me tell you something that is going to be happening in the next 48 hours that you need to be a part of. Because this conversation about what becomes possible when what was false finally falls away is not a question I want you to just sit with alone. On Monday, May 11th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, it's the final saloon, the Architecture of Audacity. And I chose the words deliberately, architecture and audacity. Do you have the audacity to break those false rules that you've been living by that have been created to keep you in the Truman Show? Do you have the audacity to create and live by your own rules? Do you have the audacity to architecture something parallel to the system that you have been living in? New institutions, new structures, new way of leadership, new ways of living, new ways of loving. This saloon is for the woman who's standing in that rubble right now. This is for the one who has done everything right, but watched it fall apart and stop working. For the one who has been called too much and not enough in the same breath. For the one who knows something is beginning but cannot yet name what it is. This is where we name it together. So again, 48 hours on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to put the link below. And I don't want you to think too hard about it. I just want you to register it, right? At the end of this video, once you like it and share it with someone, go ahead and register. Because what Pluto is clearing, all the falsehoods, the false blueprints, the inherited stories, the permission you've been waiting for, all of that is being cleared for a purpose. And that purpose is not to leave you in that rubble. That purpose is to make room for what you actually are here to build. So the Architecture of Audacity is the room where we figure out what that is. So I opened the video with this question: what becomes possible when when what was false finally falls away? And here's what I know. What becomes possible is women can build together with intention, with discipline, and in covenant with one another. That is what becomes possible for all of us. That's what I want for all of us. And I hope I see you on Monday to make that happen. So until next time, I am Marjorie, and this is the work of remembering who you are before the world told you who to be. I'll see you next time.